Okay, we're going to go through weeks 5 through 8 on the next progression for Geneseo. I'm just going to go through the coaches card the same way to read it, and everything else is set the same. What I'm going to kind of go through are changes in any exercises or progressions that may not show up onto the athlete card. First things first, I did implement through the integrator all of the new maxes. So each athlete will have their name up top, and then it'll be different from bench, squat, or clean based upon what their numbers were previously. So here where it says 6570 is going to be completely different per athlete. If it does show a 0 as a placeholder, that just means that there is no max or number set for that individual, and then they can just fill that in. Okay? Again, as a reminder, if it is an open block, that just means it is open per the athlete. If they want to increase a little bit, fantastic. If they want to hold, that is their choice for that day. Going through day one, most of our rotations and warm-up is going to be set the same for lateral band walks. If able, I want to try and move the band so to set just below their kneecap. Front planks are the same. A to Z shoulder is the same, except now I would like, if possible, for everyone to hold a 2.5-pound plate in their hand. Okay. Next one for day one, block 2, jump shrug with a hang clean. Okay, it is 2 reps. And so a jump shrug, then a hang clean equals 1. So I've already moved it over here to our notes. It'll be a jump shrug, hang clean, jump shrug, hang clean, and that'll denote 1 set for them. Okay. Each one is going to mimic the other, and this should complement their hang cleans a little bit better. This is going to help with their triple extension. This is going to help with getting their hips through. It should help with all sorts of explosiveness. The benefit of having the jump shrug prior is it allows us to still develop that power and speed, plus each movement is going to be identical to each other. So the setup for our jump shrug should be the same descent setup for our hang cleans. So it kind of helps with that consistency piece without breaking down their body quite as much. We have a med ball slam max effort. Afterwards, again, we're looking to slam it as hard as we can. That can be a dead ball, that can be a Dynamax ball, whichever one is totally fine. Kneeling hip flexor then is done at the end as well. For our back squat to med ball, we are decreasing our reps. As you can see throughout the further weeks, everyone should have a percentage-wise with this. And keep in mind that these are estimates for where they should be. The further and further we get along and the more that we do, the more accurate these numbers will then become. Okay. We will have a video for our seated broad jump right afterwards. Just as an explanation, what we'll do is the individual then be seated onto the side of a weight bench that they pull out. From that seated position, they need to do a broad jump as far as they can. Okay, what we're trying to implement is the ability to be explosive from that bottom position. I really think this has a high carryover to sport, whether that be volleyball, football, whatever it may be. A lot of times we're already in that lower than average athletic position, that power position, but we still have to be explosive through that full range of motion. And it complements very nice with that back squat, especially to the med ball. That teaches them, okay, I'm in this bottom position. I need to accelerate that entire time from the bottom. The first few times it might seem a little awkward for them, but then they kind of pick up on it a little bit more. Plate loaded push-ups, just what we had before. Stack plates on your back, see how heavy we can get. Dumbbell RDL, that'll be a dumbbell in each hand. They'll be able to choose how heavy they can get. I would push for them to be heavier versus lighter, especially on day one. And then we're trying to teach slow and controlled on the way down, fast and explosive on the way up. Almost like mimicking our jump shrug from earlier in that day, if that helps with the coaching cue as well. The inverted rack row is you'll set the bar up for a bench press, pull the bench out, hang underneath the bar. And I always suggest to touch the bar just below chest line as if the individual was benching upside down. If females are unable to get their torso all the way up to the bar, I would then have them bend their knees a little bit. If you got really strong guys, you can have their feet up onto a bench, so it's at a little bit more of a decline. So there is some variability in that as well. The agility plyo and conditioning is going to be group 2 that Coach Breeze will be running. I will go through that sheet separately. with the hopes that they'll give you guys a little bit more time in the weight room and him a little bit more time to instruct a little bit more, but kind of keep the tempo high. Day 2, difference in our injury prevention is Y's and I's. We'll have videos for those movements. It is a shoulder injury prevention. Quick hands, I would suggest alternating what movement that is, whether that's walking, hopping, or individual going lateral with that. Our single leg glute bridge will now be just like before, except we want to try and put one foot up onto a bench. So as we bridge, we have a larger range of motion. Clean complex, same setup as we had the last 4 weeks. I am now eliminating out the RDL at the beginning. So now they only have 4 movements. The weight remains the same, but we have also upped our repetition. So we'll have 3 sets of 5 reps each, still 1 lap, and still trying to go on the 3 minutes. Okay, hopefully in this, we're going to increase our work capacity and movement efficacy throughout. Bench press, pretty self-explanatory. The push-up is going to be slightly different. We want it to be explosive. If they're able to do a clap push-up afterwards, fantastic. Not everyone is able to do that. We still push for it to be explosive. If they can't get an audible clap, I just say go down and up and then try and get your hands on and off the ground. If you can pick both hands an inch off the ground, fantastic. We're trying to work towards that clap push-up. Almost everyone can do an explosive push-up regardless of ability. Bandit Faceball will loop the band around the pull-up bar. We want to try and pinch our shoulder blades together, touch our elbows behind our back. We're looking for the rhomboids a little bit more than our traps for this. This helps with posture. Dumbbell step up plus a reverse lunge will all be done on one leg and then flip to the other. Conley step ups or alternated legs. These we want to stay all on one. So we'll have a plant leg and my right foot will step up. As I step back, I'll have my right foot move back to that reverse lunge. So it is either in a lunge position or on top of the bench for that. Kind of builds in a little bit more volume and balance and stability for ACL prevention. We're also going to implement a sleeper stretch with that, where the individual lies on their side, pushing on their wrist for that posterior shoulder. Same with our agility plyo. That's going to be paired with a mystery box as well, depending on time. We have all new mystery box exercises that will have a separate video going through that as well. Okay. Last day, still keeping the same setup. Changes in our injury prevention as we have a med ball overhead slam and a cat cow for mobility and strengthening progressions. New movements are a dumbbell, or not the dumbbell snatch, for the dumbbell snatch. If we can increase weight and technique is allowing us, fantastic. The new movement is going to be a hanging knee raise, hanging from the pull-up bar, bringing both knees up to your chest the best that you can. If individuals do start to swing and get out of control, we then want to offer the cue of slowly lowering their legs back down. It may take a little bit longer, but it eliminates out that swing, and that's going to help us then activate our torso and hip flexors a little bit more and control that movement, which we're trying to get out of a little bit more body awareness for that. If the knee raise is too simplistic for some individuals, have them do a hanging leg raise so their legs are out straight. It's just a small advancement up to make it a little bit more challenging for those that are able. Our kettlebell swings, we have upped our repetitions to 10 reps, and then we have implemented pull-ups to 2. If an individual can easily do 2 pull-ups, if they can crank out 10 pull-ups just straight body weight, I would suggest grabbing a dumbbell or squeezing a 10-pound plate between their thighs to do that, just to add a little bit more difficulty. Because it is only 2 reps, we should be able to kind of push that envelope a little bit more. Again, we have our agility plyo flush to do as well. We're now flipping that from specific laps to time allotted. Now that we're starting to get into the grunt of seasons and workload, it is now set for 6 minutes, so they can kind of gauge their difficulty level and intensity level. They should be able to get more than 3 laps with that, with the jogging straight and walking the curve. So we just kind of leave that a little bit more open-ended for you as a coach to help instruct. 2 new pieces that we're adding in that help out quite a bit with athletic development is what we call SADO, which is our acronym for Specific Athletic Development and Optimization. This gives a little bit of autonomy to the athlete themselves, where they have a 5-minute block and it is open-ended. Everyone can be doing something slightly different. We just highly suggest reflect back. Each athlete would then reflect back to what they need to work on most. What has come up time and time again that a coach has told them they need to work on. This sets aside specific time for them to do whatever they need. That's why I kind of have it listed out: injury prevention, strength, mobility, explosiveness, core work, whatever it is. If they are injury prone, or if they have an ache and pain on their shoulder, have them do whatever exercises the PT has given them or the athletic trainer has given them. If their shoulder's been bothering for a while, let's do extra shoulder work for that. If they just need more lower body strength or more upper body strength, have them pick a couple things, make it all simplistic, body weight type movements. We don't need individuals doing more back squats. Something quick and effective for that. If anything, I would suggest individuals towards that injury prevention or mobility or core. Those would be the top three I would suggest. If they're like, I don't know what to do, I would push them towards that. Usually they all kind of migrate into smaller groups for individuals that kind of need to do something at the same time. Then you have a leader step up and say, let's do this for a core circuit. Let's do this. Hey, we have really bad hips, hamstrings, hip flexors are tired from practice and previous games. Let's stretch our hip flexors out a little bit more. Use foam rollers would be a good area to do this, just as a general recovery, get your body right for it. The other piece we added in is our parasympathetic reset. You could probably, depending on time left, you can do it before or after the wall stretch series. I would suggest it afterwards. Without a better way to describe it, I would suggest a pencil stretch lying on your back. You can turn the lights out, fantastic. Have them lie down, slow their breathing down, focus on trying to lower their heart rate, get back to that homeostasis, back to that neutral from the workout in the day. I always suggest for the athletes to visualize their upcoming competition, visualize the positive aspects of that, whatever the position is. Always keep it positive, always think of what they're doing, how they improve, what situations do you find yourself in, how do you succeed out of that. We really like implementing that from a mentality aspect. A lot of people don't focus quite as much on visualization. However, utilizing that parasympathetic reset, lowering the heart rate, kind of brings them down a little bit and mentally prepare for the game next day, game that day, tomorrow, whatever it may be. Kind of helps quite a bit for that as well.